Hi again. This is the first video log for the film that I'm going to be making on this channel for a micro budget to hopefully help myself in learning a bit more about filmmaking, and also to help anyone out there who wants to be involved in filmmaking for whatever reason, right? So the first thing that we want to talk about is the idea. Now, telling a story, which essentially is what filmmaking is, way before you start casting or thinking about equipment, or even thinking about writing the full screenplay, you've got to just be thinking about an idea, a concept, something central to the whole thing that you're writing. Now, there are several ways to approach this. I'm of the opinion that, for me anyway, the best thing to come up with is a situation that's interesting, right? An event that is interesting, and then build my script around that. So, for example, for this film, the interesting situation that I could think of was I had a dream not that long ago, and it was in the realms of science fiction, and in this bizarre dream it was really strange. There were a whole load of crazy things that didn't make any sense in it, but there was one thing that stuck out for me, and that was that I had a dream about myself being visited by my future self, telling me that I have, at some point, I will develop the technology to travel through time, and my future self was in some state basically, and telling me that under no circumstances should I do it, because I'm going to cause a lot of pain and a lot of havoc. So to me, that's an interesting situation. Imagine being, confronted one day by you, an older you, who's telling you that you're going to do certain things that are going to lead to horrible events. So that, at the moment, and it might change, it might completely change, but at the moment that's the core concept, the core idea or situation that I'm going to build my film around. So with regards to your film, like I say, for me, coming up with a situation, an event, something that happens that's interesting is a really good way to start. Some other people come up with characters first, before the situation, interesting characters, sometimes with great backstory, and then they put them into a situation. And sometimes the situation can be fairly mundane, but the situation becomes interesting because you have these characters who are full of life. So that's another way that you can approach it. Then you can sort of, another approach is doing it blind, which is just jumping straight to writing your screenplay and just seeing what comes out. I've written some short stories like that, but normally you at least have to have an idea, something that's there. What you need to bear in mind is that this is sometimes the hardest part of the filmmaking process, is coming up with an idea, coming up with a concept, something to film. If you look on YouTube, you'll find loads of people with videos that nothing really happens in them, and you can tell that they really want to make a film, they want to make a short, they want to make a video, but there's no content, there's nothing really there. So it's good to have something for everything else to surround, and to grow out of that little seed, that little idea, that concept, that event, those characters, whatever it is for you. Find that one thing and then move on to writing your script. Incidentally, the whole idea of making a script making a film rather, that first of all you deal with just characters and then move into an interesting situation. that has been extremely successful for some people. If you look at the likes of Kevin Smith, he broke into filmmaking by making a low budget film called Clerks, where the situation itself isn't very interesting, but what makes the film, in my opinion, very clever and makes it work is that it is about the characters and about the dialogue and about the vibe that those characters give off and the relationship that they have with one another. That's what makes this mundane situation interesting. Getting messaged on my computer. So yeah, that's your first thing. You need to come up with an idea, and then you can move on from that. So that's my idea. It's in its very early stages at the moment, and we'll move on to script development after this. Okay, so good luck with coming up with your idea. Let's say it can be the hardest part of the whole filmmaking process, or if you're a writer, because you might not be a director watching this, you might be a writer or anyone involved in any facet of filmmaking. It can be the hardest part just to come up with that idea that's a good idea. If you come up with a good idea at the start, chances are you'll end up with something good in the end. You know, there was an old saying which is, you know, what was it? It takes a bad director to make a bad movie out of a good script. It takes a great director to make a great movie out of a bad script. Did that make sense? I hope it did. So yeah, get your idea, get it good, and you should be okay. So good luck with that. On to the next video.